Bear down, Bears fans. Bears Victory Friday. Victory Friday. It doesn't sound as good, but I'll take it because a Bears victory sounds great any day of the week to me. Even one in an interesting game last night that I don't know, Lance. It's a win, but it didn't feel like the win that I hoped we were going to get. This one, to me, felt like it should have been a little more dominating. But as we said before the pod, a win is a win. What'd you see last night on the show? Lance Briggs on the show, ladies and gentlemen, former future Hall of Fame linebacker, Lance Briggs.
Thank you kindly. Thank you for that part right there. Listen, it's perspective is everything. So if you look at this as a win for the Bears, all right, there were players that are going to be on this team in the future. You're looking for who's part of this core, who's a part of the future. You saw that. You definitely saw that in this game. There were players that, especially defensively, shoot that offensive line where they were moving bodies, moving people around. They gave Tyson plenty of time.
Oh yeah,
gave him plenty of time. And then you look at not only did we win, but we also moved into that first slot in the draft. So the perspective
double
is
win.
It's a win. Oh yeah,
win.
Oh yeah. Listen, we tasting W's like Jameis Winston, baby. We tasting W's.
Okay? Oh, okay. All right. Please, let's not. Please, no Jameis. Complete sidebar. I love Jameis Winston, the teammate, but he got to be a weird dude to be around. I don't know. I love what he is as a teammate. He gonna hype your head up.
Yeah,
he gonna eat a W.
He gonna eat some W's. He gonna eat some. I think his heart's always been in the right position, right spot. He sometimes he takes it too far.
Hey, I love that even his teammates was like, we loved it, but we all was confused. Like nobody knew what was going on. Let me ask you this, Lance, right? Because you literally just heard the comments from Chris Canty over on Cabin J Hood. 7 to 10 every day. Tune in with them. Rock with the boys. Make sure y'all stay with them. ESPN 1000. You literally just heard Chris Canty's comments basically on sell high on Justin Fields. There's no reason for him to take another snap now with what this team is. After this game, right, though, I'm very confused on why it's the whole you have to go get a quarterback when the things that you just mentioned that were good were line play on both sides and continuing to build through the trenches. I would think that a former defensive lineman, former trench guy would understand that for a quarterback to be successful, the trenches have to be in place. And we're starting to see the beginnings of that. Hopefully Nate Davis comes back and can do that. But when you heard Chris Canty's comments, what were your thoughts?
It's my thoughts were that this expert commentary is coming from probably a offensive defensive lineman. Probably a defensive lineman, what I mean? And so it's one of those deals, man. I talked about on the after show yesterday with Alex Brown. One of the most complicated signs that you're going to give D linemen is this sign right here. Eat, get out there and eat, what Eberflus was doing on the field. My thing about it is those comments that they come without an understanding that you look over at Baltimore. Okay, you see the things that they're doing, to play to the strengths of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
They're one of the funnest, the most dominant teams on both sides of the ball, because they play to the strengths of their quarterback and he has a specific skill set. If you have a Justin Fields with a specific skill set and you're not playing to those strengths, then what are we doing? Then of course you're going to get comments like Chris Canty and him saying all this jive about him sitting him and not putting him out there, man. But that to me that doesn't really tell the story. It doesn't really tell the story. And he's saying sell high because he had a good game against the Commanders. Don't play him anymore and trade him. Get out of here, man. We're trying to build a championship here. What I mean? We're not here to cut ties with everything and then restart. He hasn't been a part of this organization, so he doesn't know what we've been through just to get to the point we're at right now.
Yeah. It's so interesting when I hear people say that. It's like you want to sell high. Like it's almost like the tank mentality or the tank mindset has corrupted sports so much that all people can think of is, well, you have to trade this piece high to get the next best pick that you can so that you can get the next best thing. And sometimes the next best thing and the next best thing. We just watched it last night.
even more so in the city of Chicago, because we've been dealt a bunch of crummy cards when it comes to players and player selection, coaches and coaches selection, you know what I mean, for a long time. You know what I mean? So there has become a culture of, it's not going to work. Get rid of them and get somebody else in there. Oh, man, we can get somebody. And then you start throwing out generational talent. Oh, man, come on, man.
Hey,
generational talent just because we have to go get this person. No, you got what you need to do. Man, you know, the championships were built from that interior. All right. You go back to the 85 Bears. They had so much talent. It didn't really matter who played quarterback. You know what I mean? Yeah. We lucked out and got Jim McMahon. And Jim McMahon, you know, let him help lead him to a championship. But let's do what we know. Let's go out and let's build these doggone trenches. Let's build it. We have a core right now, and you can see on that field. There are players. Now you add Montez Sweat to that recipe. You know what I mean? You can see what Tevin Jenkins can do. He had a little bit of rough. He had some rough plays last night.
Hey, listen.
He had some rough plays, but all in all, he's been grading out extremely well. We're building something. Let's keep doing that. Keep moving in that direction.
And I think that's the interesting thing, right? Like, speak to how much of a difference good coaching makes, because I think that we continue to see like a back and forth with coaching here, right? Like, there's some times where, and I will say this, Flus to me as a DC, I got to give him credit. He's doing a much better job defensively, but then I look on the offensive end and I hear this comment yesterday. Courtney Cronin tweeted this out, and she talked with DJ Moore and Tyson Bagent. She said DJ Moore was surprised that on the first play of the game, that 16-yard reception, that he got the ball. He said, I was shocked because that's not what we went over. And when it happened, I was like, okay, let's just start the party early. I was happy. When she asked Tyson Bagent about it, he said, I don't know why I'd be surprised. He's the best player on the field. You have to get that guy the ball. Your coaches aren't even preparing the team to get the ball to DJ Moore in situations where every time he touches the ball, he's magical.
Yeah.
Is that a huge indictment on the coaching staff, and how much can coaching change what we're seeing with this team?
Well, you know, in that script, and their 15-play script, you know, I don't think that DJ's a guy like he's an X, you know what I mean? He's an X, you know, and I don't think he's a guy that moves into the slot. Like, you can move players around specifically to make sure that they're in those positions. You know, he might be a guy that's always an X. And so, you know, there are plays that are going to be tailored to him. There'll be plays that are being tailored to others, you know, and so, but yeah, yes, he should be in the game plan. He should be in the game plan. I don't know if it, you know, obviously sounds like Tyson, you know, had a little audible.
I love it.
But yeah, no, he should be. He absolutely should be in that game plan, in that script. And I don't know how it works. I don't know what Luke Getsy's thought process is behind it. But you know, we'll see.
I think it's always so interesting to me, because it seems like the Bears on the offensive end have taken this, which I guess I kind of like it, right? The everybody eats approach. Everybody's going to get a bite at the pie. You don't want to focus in on guys. But to me, with where the Bears have been, the positions we've been in this season offensively, you need to focus in on DJ Moore. And they have this mindset like he's just one of the other guys. And he's not. Like, he's an elite level wide receiver, and you can clearly see the gap between him and, I guess, our next best receiver would be Darnell Mooney right now. Like, I love Darnell. I think he's very talented. Oh yeah. But there's a huge gap there, and the Bears are kind of like, well, we're going to get you the ball, but we're going to get you the ball when we can, not get you the ball to move us down the field.
Well, okay, so let's talk about this. When the Bears played the Commanders, you know, it was DJ all day long.
All day.
You know, and we were, you know, as happy as we all were, you know, because obviously it was a win. It was like, we can't do this every week. We can't just go to DJ Moore. Hey, listen, we can do whatever it is that you have to do to win the game. If it's throw it to DJ, you know, 90% of the time, that's what you do. You know, you take what the defenses give you. Yeah. That's what you do.
But I feel like, right, like when I take what the defense gives you, but I feel like when we look at other teams, and I get it, DJ Moore's not the same. No, he's not the same caliber of wide receiver. I almost had a homer moment there, but he's not the same caliber of wide receiver as the Justin Jeffersons or like the tops of the tops, right? He's in that top 15. He might be 15, 14 range, something like that. But with those guys, I've watched them literally go, you can't stop him. There's nothing you can do to stop him, and we're going to get him the ball on 5 of these next 6 passes. And DJ Moore, to me, is that type of player where I've seen him just be open, find a way to be open, or you throw him the tough pass, and he's like, don't worry about it. I'm here. I'm going to catch it. Double coverage. I'm going to bring that in. And we don't – it's almost as if the Bears don't have a trust that if you force the ball to DJ, he can make something happen with it, even though we've seen it so many times at this point in the season.
Worst thing you can do offensively is try to force the ball because you're trying to get the ball into a specific guy's hands. All right. Defenses, we look for those tendencies.
Yeah.
You know, Justin Jefferson, he's in, I think the coach is O'Connell's offense.
Kevin O'Connell.
You know, that's also, they're running the same style of offense out in LA Rams, you know, a lot of similarities with what they're doing. And again, there's a lot of tendencies in how they get the ball to Justin Jefferson. Okay. And so, you know, and regardless of if defenses start to figure out how they're supposed to stop them, you know what I mean? That's up to them, you know, but I'll watch and I'll see exactly what you need to do in order to shut a lot of those routes down. Okay. Now, I played on a team where we had a Brandon Marshall and we were trying to force the ball to him over and over and over again. And defenses just cheated right over there. And Jay Cutler would get pick after pick after pick because he was trying to force the ball to a player. And there were other guys that were open that she should have been taking what the defense was giving. If we want to win, if you want to win, you know, yes, that we need DJ. We need the football in DJ's hands. But it needs to be in his hands when the defense is allowing that.
Yeah. That was I don't know why they just reminded me. Were you on the field for the practice field for the when Devin bet Pep that every pass in that practice was going to go to B Marsh? Were you on the field?
I was on that.
You were on the team. I know that.
Definitely on the team, you know, and I'm sure I was running around, but I don't know if I knew about the bet, but we knew that the ball was going to go to him every time.
Yeah, clear. You don't remember that specific practice. You don't remember that.
Right.
He said, what did he say? He said, when it got to 16 passes in a row, Pep called the bet off. Like, that's just, I love Jay. But Jay is Jay. Let me ask you this, Lance.
Mm-hmm.
With what we've seen defensively from this team over the last, I'd say 6 weeks or so, right? There's been some ups and downs, but over the last 6 weeks, I think this defense has kind of started to put itself together. Pieces have been added, and we're starting to see it kind of look like a defense that we hope it can one day be. Is that enough to save Matt Eberflus's job at the end of this season? Because he has gotten the defense to look something like he wants it to look like, and maybe there need to be other coaching changes in the building, but we don't want to mess up the culture that he's building on the defensive side of the ball.
I love what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. I do. And I love the pieces that you continue to add to this team, and you can see a real core developing. You know, there's things that have to happen offensively. You know, obviously we have to put up more points. You know, we need more production, and we have to find out, you know, what we have. You know, and so finding out what we have is also, you know, there's players play and coaches coach. There's levels, you know, to all of this stuff, and I need to know if the players that we have on the field match up with the coaching that we have, that they're the game plan, the scheme, and how you want this thing run. I'm trying to figure out, you know, if these players and these coaches, in particular Justin Fields and Getsy, is a match, or is the mismatch. You know, and we're trying to put the pieces together. I'm hoping that they can find a way to make this thing work, and we can find a lot more success, you know, or feel like we can be successful in the future as we add pieces, because that'd be really helpful. It'd be really helpful, man. To me, I'm really about building a championship team for years to come, not just for the immediate future.
It's tough, right? Because like the head coach is over everything. So for me, I look at it and I'm like, well, yes, you need to make these changes. You need to do these things. But as we're starting to see it develop, and as you go back and look at a lot of the scores, right? A lot of those scores on losing games, you have to take into account that the defense gave up, I think in the Vikings game, right? They gave up 13 points because there was, or 12 points because there was a offensive turnover that goes the other way for a touchdown in the end, right? So like, you look at the defense and you actually go back through the whole season and you're like, I mean, they were good here. They were okay here. Yeah. And we hear this a lot with this style of defense, that it's very bend, but don't break. I think that a lot of people they get a bad taste in their mouth because too often we feel like the defense should be what it was with you guys, right? Like it's not bend but don't break. It's like y'all not gaining another yard. We're remembering the Titans in this game right now with how we're running this defense. But the defense hasn't been terrible this year after the first 3 games. Because
That's true.
There's been a lot of issues on the offensive side of the ball with keeping the football out of the other team's hands.
Yeah. I'd say the one thing right now that we're waiting for is
what's going on back there, Lance?
Is we need takeaways. We need takeaways. Oh yeah.
Just
like that. But it's it's to me, it's the thing that we need now is they just need takeaways. They just start punching at that ball. As I'm now what we're starting to see is 8, 9, 10 guys show up at the ball. Guys are starting to run to the ball. And it was great to actually watch last week. It was against 2 very good defenses. I'm watching number 99 from the Saints, 30 yards down the field, hustling his tail off and making a play in the defensive backfield. When you have that kind of effort, that's the kind of effort that builds championships. You can win like that.
How do you turn those almost turnovers into turnovers? Is there something you can do in practice? Because I feel like the Bears have had so many almost turnovers this season that if we could just get that slight flip of like bring in 1 or 2 of those, and all of a sudden we're having a very different game. How do you make that change in practice? Is there something different that you can do? I feel like he's moving intentionally to get the shot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I respect this so much. The lean is crazy.
Yeah. Well, you number one, you change that because you change from turnovers. Turnovers are by chance. And takeaways are a skill, and so taking the ball away is the actual act of saying I'm taking the ball away from you. A turnover is by chance. He loses the ball. So the habit happens in everything that you do. When you're in walkthroughs, I said in your practices, you're going to cause fights with the offense, but who cares? You want to win. You want to win. All right. Then that's what you have to do. You have to create the habit of taking the ball away. And then when not only do you take the ball away, play's not over. Ball's on the ground. What do you need to do? You need to scoop. You need to be scoring every time. All right. That's how you create the right habits.
It's so interesting too, because like almost every player that went out for those of you listening on the audio side, just go to watch the video. I'm not even going to tell you what's happening over here. Just go watch the video. It's so interesting though, because like I feel like all of you guys who are former players that went and watched the Bears practices and different things like that came away from their practices being like, they're not practicing, like they're not doing things to complete. They're not finishing out the act, right? Like Yurko was talking about training camp. He's like, the big guys are out there for no reason. Like they're running past Justin Fields as they get out there. Now, of course, you don't want to touch the quarterback, sack him, but like the play's not being blown dead when in what looks like to be a clear sack, they're just letting them play out. So then you get the tweets of Justin Fields threw a great deep ball down the sideline. And I'm standing on the side. I'm like, it looked like he got sacked 4 times. Is it just me? Maybe it's not me. So like is there an issue with how they're practicing? And I feel like, is there an issue with how they're practicing? And is that why we're seeing a lot of things take this long to develop? Because slowly but surely, as the year has gone on, they have gotten better getting in-game reps, getting in-play reps. And I can't deny that defensively.
I mean, since that third game, I've progressively seen them get better and better. That's coaching, that's players, that's accountability. Guys are starting to fly around, and you start to see, and when you know that these guys are flying around. TJ Edwards had 12 tackles, I believe, in this last game last night.
Yeah,
he's been in double digits in tackles for the past month. All right, he plays that weak side linebacker position. I'm very familiar with it. All right, I was saying this about a month ago. I said, listen, these linebackers should be having double digit tackles each week. It needs to be consistent. If not, you're not flying around. You're not flying to the ball. You're not running to the ball, and that means that you're not putting yourself in a position to be a playmaker. And when I see those numbers, I see that he has 12 tackles. I see that Jack Sanborn has 9 tackles. You know what I mean? He needs a few more. You know what I mean? But that tells me that these guys are getting to the ball. You know what I mean? And that right there, that's a talentless issue, running to the ball. So those are the things that they're doing. I saw in the first game that Montez Sweat that he played in with the Bears, he's making a tackle down the field. He's hustling.
Hey, I love Sweat.
Right.
I love Montez Sweat.
Absolutely. 8 pressures. Come on, man. That's that you can win like that.
Yeah.
So you got to. I think Chicago fans need to see the big picture. Really need to see the big picture here. And see that there's pieces that are being put in place. And sometimes it's, and listen, I'm not saying that Flus is the best coach ever. I think he's pretty bad at interviews. You know what I mean? And between him and the Bears PR department, I think they're definitely not always in sync. They're never in sync. He's and he's one of those young coaches. He reminds me a lot of Nagy in the sense that you can tell that he's new at this head coaching stuff. Yeah. But if I talk about the grades, when I talk about the grades and I grade the defense, okay, and you want to talk about guys say or fans say, oh well, why is the coaching where it is? I'm like, I just gave the defense an A. Yeah. So if I gave the defense an A, regardless of where the offense is, it's not going to be an F. Number one, it's not going to be an F. Okay. Yeah. So, I said, if you have 3 phases, okay, you have 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams. All right. And if your special teams is a B, your defense is an A, what do you think coaching's going to get? Even if your offense is a D, right? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. This team comes out and they're playing each week. We have to be careful about some things, and the key thing that I'm most worried about is do not set this organization back. Yeah. We've been set back too much. All right. We need to continue to take steps forward. All right.
No, 100%. Like that's the where I hear the Chris Canty's where he's like, well, you got to reset it. Cause what are you going to have to do if you got to pay Justin? It's like, it's almost like people think, well, if I have to pay this guy, I have to pay this guy what I paid Pat Mahomes because he plays the same position. If he ain't Pat Mahomes, you don't give him Pat Mahomes money. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like you structure contracts a certain way based on who the player is, and if that player don't want to take that, it's a very different situation then.
Right. People mad about Montez Sweat when he got signed. It was, oh man, that's too much money. It's market value. It's a market deal. That's what the market is for his position.
The part that killed me, especially with like Michael Lombardi, who just for some reason, like I'm fully convinced that like whenever somebody's name starts to like die down and people just don't care what you say anymore, they just come pick on Chicago teams for anything they're doing. Because out of nowhere, Michael Lombardi's just like, well, I don't. You traded a 2nd round pick and you paid this guy like one of the top defensive ends in the NFL. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you paid him like that because other defensive ends are going to get paid a lot more than that. And that's going to reset the market yet again.
Yeah.
What are we like? We're acting like money's not going up in the NFL. I don't know. That's weird. Let's finish it out with this, Lance. One last thing for you before we let you go here. In that second half, I was watching pretty close, but maybe not as close as you. What was up Matt's sleeve?
Again, like I said,
anything up that sleeve there?
Listen, I'm not saying that he is the greatest head coach in the world, especially, in the interview telling the lady, hey, we got some trick plays here. Tricks up our sleeve.
We got some stuff up our sleeve. It was a run to the A gap. It was the same stuff up the sleeve you had. You didn't fool me
at all. And it was fun, but that was the bubbliest that I've seen him in any interviews after that game, and he got to joke around about it, which is good, especially in a win. But I think he's definitely learning on the fly, and I don't know what the future brings, but I'm sure that he'll have to reevaluate how he does things and make some adjustments.
Hey, Jason Leisure didn't deserve the "What's up yours." That was wrong for Matt. Hey, it was funny though. I laughed. Right. He didn't deserve the "What's up yours." He left that interview and he was like, "What's up our sleeve?" I got nothing. Luke, what do you got up the? Oh, a screen. All right. Well, it is what it is.
True. He was thinking that when he did that interview, he was like, "Did I just say that? Did I really just say that?" He was kicking himself.
You can see it in his face. Like you thought you said something cool and immediately you was like, "That was stupid." I don't know why I said that. That's gonna come back to bite you. That's the rest of the season. Hey, we got something up our sleeve.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, we appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. You're not getting this level of content, this level of access to former Chicago Bears anywhere else, man. So appreciate Lance for always coming through. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Bears get the dub 16-13. A win is a win. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.